let's touch on and talk about these disrespectful, very, very disrespectful comments during last week's Bears game. And where it happened is a microcosm of the problem in society today. The disrespect of black men, number one. Number 1A, the disrespect of men in general, period. There's a hate and disdain for men, straight men. Thinking black men who have the ability to think for themselves and not be fooled into being lifelong Democrats because our parents and our parents' parents were the same way. If you have a brain and you have discernment and you're able to look at the world and what's going on, look at the patterns of the past, who was always standing there cheesing in your face, but when you really need them to follow through on their promises, they disappear like a phantom. Poof, just a puff of smoke, gone. What disrespectful comments are you talking about, Blizzy? Glad you guys asked that. Last week, the Bears played the Tennessee Titans. Jonathan Owens was playing on special teams. One of his teammates blocked a punt. Jonathan Owens scooped it up, ran it in for a touchdown. The sports commentator referred to him as Mr. Biles. Now, a lot of people might think that it was a harmless word play and tongue-in-cheek comment. No. Because it's a habit that's being made. It's a habit that's being made. Has Tom Brady ever been referred to as Mr. Bonchin? No. He's referred to as Tom Brady or Tom freaking Brady. But because she wins gold medals or this and that, his professional career gets just disrespected and overshadowed. Well, and you go back to when Simone Biles won her gold medals and she put one of the gold medals on her husband's neck, and you got all these women, most of which are ABWs, the B-dub, that would decide to say, they get on social media, on TikToks, and say, why are you wearing that medal? You didn't win that medal. Take her medal off. So if he celebrated the win last week with his wife, are you guys also going to say, why are you celebrating? You didn't scoop that ball up and run it in for a touchdown. Stop celebrating. No, of course not. Because you're talking about a man. And then in the community, the distaste of a black man. And the triggers started to spawn after he said he was the prize. And who used to say that all the time? Kevin Samuels. And that name triggers women worldwide, especially in the black community. So as soon as he said that, they immediately started the hate train. Put the hate train on the tracks and started moving. One after one after one. All these B-dubs talking about Jonathan Owens. How he's not this and not that, or you're not an Olympic gold medalist. Well, she's not an NFL football player either. So there's that. And then you have the sports commentator referring to him as Mr. Biles. That's not cool. That's not cute. You emasculated that man in front of millions of people watching the game, sir. That shit ain't cool, and it wasn't funny. Because if you really want to be technical about it, she should be referred to as Mrs. Owens. But we not gonna acknowledge that because it's running rife through society today. And this is why you have a lot of guys that are stupidly willing to vote for Kamala Harris because their wives, their girlfriends have their nuts in their purses, or maybe they're stored in a mason jar on top of the refrigerator. They need to find their balls. But then again, it's been proven that a lot of men that are openly willing to vote for Kamala have low testosterone levels anyway. They are part of the problem of this disrespectful campaign to men, thinking it's cute, thinking it's something to celebrate. It is not. It is distasteful and disrespectful. And a lot of the hate is coming from the B-Dub faction because deep down inside, they are jealous that these two have a successful working marriage, of which they would never have, not even a successful relationship, let alone a marriage. Not even a successful marriage. A lot of these B-Dubs in the community won't get married at all anyway because nobody wants to marry y'all. Even the ones that might have thought they did at one point, sooner or later, those men will wake up. The alarm clock in their mind, in their brain will go off. And that man will be like, holy shit, what was I thinking? I am glad that didn't happen. But see, not only this blatant disrespect for men, it's bleeding into movies, it's bleeding into TV shows, it's bled into music. It's not only in America, it's bleeding all over the world now. Except for in Dubois, they don't play that shit. And pretty soon, that's going to be the utopia for men to live. Free thinking straight black men might have to reconsider, especially if Kamala ends up being president. Maybe we should repatriate to Dubois, where they still uphold the patriarchy and make sure women adhere to that, or there will be dire consequences. As a result, you get traditional women who know their place. That's the direction this world is moving in. Those countries that keep their women in check will be the successful new superpowers, while countries of the old that used to be superpowers that decided to step aside and let women run amok and do and say whatever they want will turn into third world countries, of which do not care about open borders. You see how this all turns into a snowball going downhill? So it's not just a simple tongue-in-cheek comment during a football game. No, this is a larger societal issue. I wanted to speak on this last week, but I was busy. And throughout the week, I was doing, I got caught up with some things. And I actually forgot about this comment during the game for a brief moment. And then today, or, getting ready to get my NFL Sunday on, it popped back in my head. And I was like, holy shit, you know what? I got to speak on this because it went largely ignored and largely unnoticed by many. And maybe a lot of people wasn't as triggered by those comments as I am. But for the men out there, y'all should be. You need to be triggered by comments like that. Especially to the brothers out there. Because, hey, have you ever heard Tom Brady be referred to as Mr. Bunchin? She's a model known worldwide. She's famous, just as famous as Tom. Has way more money than Tom. And yet still, nobody ever called Tom Mr. Bunchin. So why is it okay to call Jonathan Owens Mr. Biles? Put some respect on that man's name. I'm out.